We're looking back at this day in local history in preparation for America 250. 46 years ago today, William Winter was sworn in as Mississippi's 58th governor. All the congressmen, former governors, friends, and family members had to be moved inside the old Capitol for the ceremony because it was too cold and rainy outside. Winter had run for governor twice before, in 1967 and 1975. He was finally successful in 1979. As governor, he pushed through some of the most significant education legislation in state history. He died in 2020 at the age of 97. Governor William Winter is inaugurated on January 22, 1980. Your look at this day in history.